Unit 3.4, stacking versus nesting. Here we're going to look at the if statements. We're going to look at them being stacked. We're going to look at them being nested using the else. And we're going to do some evaluation based on the grade 85. Okay, we're going to just focus on that grade being 85 and see how these structures behave when we evaluate them. So the first one we want to look at is the stacked structure. This is a number of ifs right after each other on top of each other, kind of like stacking books where you put a book on top of a book who is on top of a book. And so we have a number of ifs here. Okay, and then we have this if on top of this if, and this if is on top of that, and so on. So the way we're going to do this is when it's stacked, we have to evaluate every single one. Whenever you have a stacked structure, you must evaluate every single one. And it would only print what's here if that condition is true. So here we go. Grade is 85. Is 85 greater than 90? No. This will not run. Next one. Is 85 greater than 80? Yes. Prints B. Is 85 greater than 70? Yep. It's going to continue running because it's stacked. Yes, that's true. It's going to print a C. Is 85 greater than 60? Yes, it's going to print a D. And is 85 less than 61? Nope. Won't print an F. Let's run that and see if our evaluation is correct. All right. I'll move this a little bit over just for us to see. B, C, and D. Yes. That's what we thought. No A, no F. Next one. Stacking was the first. Nesting is the second. So let's talk about nesting. If you look carefully, you would see this else if. Now, I'm going to go ahead and show you where this came from so you could see the level of complexity in this structure, even though it looks simple. So if you could remember, the double selection we did before had an if and an else. It just so happened that the if statement here has an else who only have an if. This else has one statement, which is an if. So I'm going to go ahead now and use curly brace to let you see how this actually looks. So now I'm not going to leave it like this. I'm going to change it back. But the intent here is for us to see how it looks. Okay, so let me just cut this out. So if you think about it, the if and the else are double selection. That's what we're using. So it's either an A or it's something else. So that's what we want to think about. It's either an A or it's something else. I don't know what else it is, but it's not an A. Okay? Else is like not. Okay? Because if this is true, this is false. And if this is false, this is true. Else is a not. But the problem here is this else has an if. And then this if. So I'm going to show how complex this structure actually looks. Has an else. Right? So I'm going to go ahead and show you how this thing looking. I mean, think about how complex this looks now. This is actually what we have. I know doesn't look that way the way I had it first, because this structure else has an if. But then this if has an else. But wait, this else has an if. You can see where I'm going with this. Let's go ahead and bring this down. And this if has an else. Right here. And this else has an if. So you can see the nesting. What is nesting? An if statement inside an if statement. Once we have things inside, we are nesting. What is stacking? On top of. Clearly no else. Now let me just show you something here. I could keep stacking, nesting these, not stacking. I keep nesting these and get the structure completely up, but you could literally watch it and see it's gonna get complicated. But let's just see how logically it makes sense. Is it an A? If it's not an A, it's something else. Next question, is it a B? If it's not a B, it's something else. Then we come in here, we say, is it a C? It's not a C, it's something else. And we keep doing that, nesting and nesting until we get to the final solution. So I'm going to undo all of this because I really don't want to write it this way. So if you're wondering, why don't they write it that way? It's too confusing, right? It's too confusing to write it that way. This is literally the same thing. So let's see how it works. It works by failure. If the if above you fail, move on to the else. If this is not true, or if it's false, we have something else. If this is not true, meaning it's false, we have something else. So what happens when it's true? It's over. It stops. So let's go with the 85 and check it out. Is 85 greater than 90? Nope. All right, we have another grade then. We have something else. Is 85 greater than 80? Yes, print the B. It's over. It stops right here. Because to move on, the guy above must fail, must be false. Because if we have this, we don't have something else. And if we don't have this, we do have something else. So let's run that, see how that works out. Clearly a B. Now if you remember, the B, C, and D from the stacked structure was incorrect. If we're thinking about purely a grade now, 85 should have been a B, but this one print B, C, and D. The nest did not though. It print just B right here. So I don't want you to walk away thinking that nesting is better than stacking. Okay, in some situations we do need to stack things, and in some situations we need to nest things. I'm just showing you the differences between them. Now in this grade situation, nesting is definitely better. Moving on to the next one. Let's go ahead and evaluate. So at this point here, we're trying to evaluate a stacked structure. We don't see an else, so everything is nicely stacked up here. Is 85 less than 61? Nope. That does not print. Is 85 less than 70? Nope. Is 85 less than 80? Nope. Is 85 less than 90? Yes, it prints a B. Is 85 less than 100? Yes, it prints an A. So an 85 in this case gives us two grades. So let's see, the B, C, D like before, the B, and finally B and A from here, because it's stacked. Now let's go ahead and check out the last structure. And the last structure is nested. I could tell because I see these else if stuff. And if you remember from before just now, how these curly braces make this look like it's indenting going in on a slant, going in and in and in. If you're indenting properly, you will get a nice slant going in. So 85, is it less than 61? No. Don't print an F. Is it less than 70? No. Is it less than 80? No. Is it less than 90? Yes. Print a B and it's over. Let's run it. Last grade is a B. So in this case, it turns out that nesting is better, but in some situations, stacking is better, where we have a number of situations that we want to check out one at a time. We need to stack them. But if we have a situation where only one grade is necessary for this, we need to nest them. Again, we got to pay attention clearly. So let's recap. If you're stacking, you must check all. If you're nested, you're only going to check up to the point where it's true. So at any point during the nested structure, if it comes true, the structure, the remainder of it is ignored. It's over. It's done once you find it. As a stack structure, though, that's not true. Even if it's true, the next structure gets checked. Okay, that's the main difference between the two of them. And again, stacking versus nesting. We are at the end of 3.4.